Okay, we're getting near the end, I would say. Right? I got dice. Oh, I got all the dice. Okay. So what exactly were we doing? I don't remember, but I know we were getting close. We were just doing this. Okay, we were dismantling the dock. Alright, well, get dismantled, buddy. There you go. You expertly strip wires and components from axis walls to dismantle them. The crews are impressed. Yeah, I'll just finish dismantling it. There you go. They are ready to go. The docking axis is little more than a shell. Everything that could have been pulled from its interior, every arm not used for docking has been cut away. What remains is a Spartan void with a patchwork of flooring that allows movement. Piles of unusable material are tucked away in corners, but almost everything else has been cleared out. You haven't seen Peter since you last spoke, and now you are realizing that you probably never will. There are plans to be made, escapes to plot, the shadow of Earth to escape. On the cycle the flotilla leaves, these ships will disperse too. The moons of Ember spinning out on different orbits. The chaos has become a quiet diligence now, as the time for departure is so near. Crews cross the axis from ship to ship at speed, bringing supplies or advice, perhaps meeting up to discuss travel vectors in hushed tones, or to debate why they haven't left yet and whether they should. Among these single crews, recognizable for their specialist clothing and often torn heads, you see the occasional refugee, a paying passenger or a replacement engineer or pilot perhaps, come from the eye to seek fortune with the singers. Most of the crews have 2 or 3 of these additions, some more, and you can't help but wish that whatever reason brings them to throw their lot in with the singer crews, they will have safe passage. You feel a strange attachment for these citizens of the eye, setting out for the first time. And then one of them catches your eye, crossing the axis with a crew, carrying a large bag and a nervous look. Tala? What the hell? Tala, you freeze for a second. What is she doing here? What about the overlook? She glances around, feeling your eyes on her, and catches your eye. Her face brightens immediately. Sleeper, Tala mutters something to her crew and rushes over, dumping the large bag at your feet and embracing you without thinking. Good to see you. She pulls back. And you, she smiles, but then it quickly fades as she realizes the context in which you are meeting. She sheepishly glances at her bag. Sleeper, she pauses. She pauses again, folding her arms defensively. I am going to the starboard belt. She waits for your response nervously. Why didn't you say? He sighs. Do you remember me mentioning my family, Sleeper? My brother? You think back to your roll-blurred conversations in the back of the Bantayan. He came here with me, with my family, when we were little, just after we left Pinza. She bites her lip. He left when we were both teenagers, jumped on some spacer crew heading to the starboard belt. She did say that, I think. She sighs, I'm an idiot. She shakes her head, and I'm going after him. She looks down, not sure what to add. That makes sense. She looks at you. It does? She laughs nervously. I'm not so sure anymore. I mean, go find your brother if he isn't dead. She doesn't know that for sure, right? But she feels like she's not dead. Which, I mean, is not ideal, but whatever. I really don't know if it makes sense or if it's the right thing, but ever since I heard that was where the refugee flotilla were going, well, I couldn't stop thinking about him. How did you hear? What happened to the bar? Yeah. Someone will have to run it. She leaves a long pause. I mean, I can ask Francis, he'd be happy to, or one of the others, she blurts out. And of course, if you are leaving with the flotilla or someone else, it would be totally okay. You wouldn't need to say yes. It's no pressure, it's fine, whichever way I was thinking. I was just thinking. I mean, I'm not sure yet. Tala not. Sure. I mean, I just sprung it on you. But she glances at the crew she was walking with, who are chatting a little way away. There's not exactly much time. So, considering that, she grabs the key hanging around her neck, the key to the Bantayan. Do you want to do it? Yes. Tala leaps forward and embraces you again. Thank you, Sleeper. I couldn't be leaving it in better hands. She pulls the key from around her neck and places it around yours as if presenting a medal. Remember to lock up, especially the back, and remember to empty the still if you are leaving things closed for a few cycles. And she stops herself. I won't be gone forever, of course. She blinks away a tear. I can come back and check in. Maybe once I find my brother. She pauses, unable to finish that thought. She smiles at you, and you can see the weight lifting off her shoulders, her eyes already drifting towards the crew, the ship, the next big thing. She's ready. I'd better be going, she nods at the crew nearby. Not a good start to keep my guys waiting. She lifts the bag onto her shoulder. She looks down the curve of the eye towards the overlook. Thanks again, Sleeper, for everything you helped me with. She nods. I wouldn't have been able to leave if I hadn't made things work here. She adjusts the bag. Dad wouldn't have left me. See you around. She nods. Hope so. Then Tala turns, heading back to the crew who will carry her to the starboard belt. You watch her go, and despite the departure, it is hard to feel sad about Tala. You know her energy will carry her forward, and you hope her brother is somewhere on that bright path. Yeah, if I leave, her place is screwed, eh? You hold the key in your hands. The metal's still a little warm from Tala's body. You turn it over in your fingers, thinking about how it feels like a tool and a burden. You can still lock up and leave, you figure, but now that will feel like breaking something fragile. And if you stay, well, who knows what this little metal promise might grow into. Drive complete, another upgrade point. That is 3. Strength or strength of will or engage. You know what? Let's approach problems head on. So I'm just a little weak on the endure side, otherwise I'm like insanely powerful. No active things, eh? And we still have a bunch of days for the next Flux event, so there is like literally nothing else. I'll just, I don't know, harvest some mushrooms, I guess. Oh, what the hell? I didn't get any good ones. Well, let's grab some more. Oh great, it's all Matsuke caps, bro. I don't need Matsuke caps right now. We'll plant some more spores in case I'm not going. Might as well keep, harvesting it. We need these caps. There you go, get the spores germinating. Now we have the dam overlook, which is, or the Bantayan, sorry, Tala's bar. My bar now. Tala is as good as a word and happy to throw a shift or two your way. I would hope so, considering this is my bar now. Guess it hasn't updated that yet. Well, I'm gonna sell you all the Matsuke. That's a good amount of money right there. The cryo, another 80 cryo, 1,100 bucks. It's good. And honestly, if I'm just gonna chill, I'll head up. Head over to my other business here. 20 cryo, positive outcome. Hey man, money is money. We'll be needing money no matter what I do. Feed our pet cat and end the cycle. I think this is the ending, right? This is where we choose whether we are going or not. Because whatever we're doing, better do it now. Feel that emphasis. Who knows when I will eat this again. No active drive. I don't know what you want me to do. Should I just wait for the event to occur? Because like everything is ready. Hyper Labs. Rico can extract miraculous stabilizer, but the Rico is gone, brother. Terminal flux. What do I do? Let's go. We can get out of here now. Taking quarantine, build a home, build a ship mine, crack convey, study the winter light, study the flux, protect the eye. The plan is set and systems prepared. Now the connection just needs to be made. Access core facility. Oh, shit. Okay. That's over though, isn't it? Or is it not over? Wait, I don't know. Tracking Atagan fragment supply, so that's not it. My empty container house, that's not it. These ships, they're not here. Right, neither is this one. The overlook bar is just an overlook bar. Do we have any data on us? We don't. If I look, closing my eyes, there's some Arvange agents, but not really the purpose here. The Ort exchange, I can play the exchange or I can sell components. The Ort fabricator, we can fabricate some ship mines if I'm interested in that. Emphasis stall is just emphasis stall. The Tamor treehouse, I can get Havans data, I can sell it, or I can play Tabla. It's the best way to make money. This is my home. The mini G Express. We can manufacture noodles or we can do some delivery work. Have some agents of the Yatagan here. Baz is import export. They just want to buy and sell stuff. The hub. Pre-show capsules. Gimbal lounge. Everything is just as it was. I seriously have nothing to do. Farm stocks. Steal the harvest, work the stacks, barter for food. Mushroom. Forage for fungus, collect spores. Not really what I'm looking for. Hyper commune. I can work. Hyper labs. I can synthesize stabilizer. Go to the wastes. We can gather scrap. There's nothing to do. The flotilla is prepared to leave. You have done all you can. Help all flotilla ships. What am I gonna do then? Just gotta chill now? Just do whatever the hell you want. Go collect scrap, I guess. I don't know. Gather scrap. Scrap always useful. Go grab a couple of the scraps. Cross the rim. Head on up. Work right here. Couple more shifts here. What am I gonna do with all this money? I don't know, man. Whatever I can, I suppose. End the cycle. On to the next. I don't know how many more cycles you have to run through, but a flux is coming in 3 cycles, so better be prepared for that. Oh, here we go. Peak slate chirps in your pocket. You take it out. A message. The connection is ready. Meet me at the Founder's Gap, Greenway side. Peak. You clench your jaw. It's time. Okay, there we go. They didn't just leave me to do whatever the hell I want for so many days. I just finished a bit early. To the gap then. Cross the Greenway side. That's where stuff is happening. Yep. Hello, Peak. Cautious XPR spacer. You find Peak waiting near where you first met, at the entrance to the docking tunnel for the Founder's Ferry. They are leaning beside the wall in the flickering light, and you realize now how different they look from when you first met. There is a darkness around their eyes, a sense of exhaustion to their pose, but also a solidarity, a sense of purpose and self-knowledge. They all look concrete, for want of a better word, solid. Sleeper, they spot you and a small smile crosses their face. Glad you came. I wouldn't be anywhere else. Their smile grows. Crunch time. They shake their head in disbelief. Let's go. The break in the connection is up ahead. They walk away from the docking tunnel into a ragged, half-crushed corridor that descends into darkness. They poke their slate and a torch flicks on, lighting the way ahead. Is freaking Castor gonna be here to stop us? As you descend through the layers of the broken edge of the eye, Peak talks, filling the silence. I had to hunt all over this part of the eye to find the point where the connection was broken. They run a hand along the buckled metal of the wall, stooping under the angled ceiling. This hole, the gap, got knocked in the eye when Solheim collapsed. It's impossible to tell who did it, but my guess is they tried to scuttle the eye. If Solheim couldn't keep hold of their fancy new station, well, no one could. Peak ducks through a fractured passageway with hanging wires like vines, so this place has always been on borrowed time. I have managed to weave together the old connections and run a new patch down to where the main line still runs through the remaining ribs of the rim. They smile, just like keeping those old XPR platforms running. Ash would be proud if she'd bothered to help. As Peak goes quiet, the corridor opens up into a wider, twisted passage with compartments on either side thick with wiring. Here, this is the connection point. You can see where Peak has levered off a panel and hooked up a thick cable to the existing hardware. As thick as a tree trunk, it snakes off into the dark ahead, its yellow rings making it look like some huge and exotic serpent. You did all this. Peak nods. It was an interesting challenge, plus it helped me keep my mind off things. Peak smiles a weak smile. There's a lot I'd prefer not to think about. You both stand there, staring at the point where the new cable meets the old one, the ends separate, fitted with multi-pin male and female connectors and braced inside a metal framework with a scissoring mechanism. Bring them together, seal them, and the greenway will be connected to the rest of the eye for the first time in decades. Peak shifts their weight onto one hip, pushing their hair out of their eyes. I feel like this should be more momentous, like there should be some ritual or ceremony. They pause, or someone should stop us from doing this crazy thing. It isn't crazy. Peak nods. I mean, I'm not being funny, Sleeper, but this whole thing is crazy to me. Peak shakes their head, leaving Hawthorne with Ash, joining the flotilla, coming here, meeting you, the flux, the shadow, everything. They laugh a hollow laugh. So I suppose this is at least consistent with all that. They take a deep breath. Okay, they look at you with mild panic. They hold both sides of the supporting framework ready to scissor it closed. Here we go. Oh, the Peak wrenches the framework closed, and the connectors thunk together with a sound that echoes down the ruined corridor into the dark on both sides. Is it done? Both you and Peak wait with bated breath, unsure of what it is you are waiting for. Do you expect the eye to suddenly stop spinning or lurch on its axis, for the power to go out, or a shock wave to run through the corridors of the rim? You meet Peak's eyes and suddenly they burst out laughing. What are we waiting for? They put a hand to their forehead. I feel like we just planted a tree and are expecting it to burst out of the ground. They shake their head. But you feel it. You feel it flowing like a stream that has been released from a cave and rushes out into the sunlight, crystalline and clear. You swear you can hear it running in the wires like water, like rain, like stream, like steam. It doesn't roar or rattle, but it rushes and rides there like liquid roots. Peak sees the look in your eyes and stops laughing. You can see it, can't you? You can't see it, not with your eyes at least, but it is everywhere. And now it is out. It can't be put back in, that much is clear. You imagine the rim of the eye like a sponge, like soil, soaking up the gardener and their chorus, the gaps filling with a burbling, constant growing life. Peak stares at you, waiting for something, anything. Gardener is free. Peak nods slowly and closes their eyes. They go to speak, but the words fail them. Suddenly Peak's slate chirps. They jump and scramble for it, almost dropping it in the process. But when they stare at it, a look of confusion crosses their face. What happened? Peak's mouth falls open. It's Ash, they swallow. She's leaving. They look at you with panic. Before you can speak, they have turned away and are moving back up the passageway, back towards the entrance. Peak. They don't run, they don't turn, don't respond, as you watch their silhouette lit by their slate's torch disappearing rapidly around the corner. So they are running back to stop her. You take out the slate Peak gave you and turn on the torch. The wires all around look like pale roots in the harsh light, and you turn away from them. They are gardeners now. You work your way back through the corridors, retracing your steps. You imagine Peak panicked, running towards the cordon, realizing that their greatest fear has come to pass. You wonder if they will be able to persuade Ash to stay. If Ash is going, you think then the flotilla must be leaving too. The thought makes you shiver in the darkness, and you push it away. You are not ready. You focus on avoiding the hanging wires, the low ceilings, and make your way back out into the lit corridors of the Founder's Ferry dock. Castor is waiting for you. Hello, Castor. He holds up his hands. Now, Sleeper. No need to fear. He raises his eyebrows. I understand now, it was my mistake to try to force you. A miscalculation. Why are you here? Good. Questions are good. He pushes his glasses up to his nose. I am more than happy to answer any you may have. I won't hold you here, Sleeper. Castor stands to the side, but I wish to speak. Okay, I'll listen. You stop, giving Castor his opportunity. Castor nods. At first I thought that, if you'll excuse it on a phrase, taking possession of your particular talents was the opportunity. He smiles a broad smile. But you are more than that. I understand that now. Your arrival on this station, your ability to touch the networks, that makes you the very definition of a wild card. He touches the rim of his glasses. Tenet stats analysis, my analysis, we could never have accounted for you. This system, the Hellion system, is about to experience a significant change, about to open up to Senate stats bailiffs, convoys, claimants, and every industry and element an active Khan channel brings. Yet this very cycle you let another wildcard free, Gardener. I have to admit, this development makes me afraid, Sleeper. It makes me afraid of what an intelligence like this will sacrifice to protect itself, or what atrocities it might commit through madness. And yet, Castor's eyes glint. What a compelling object such an intelligence is. Let me protect you. Mark you Out. Keep Senate sat from eliminating by force or legal expediency you as they will with every other squatter on this ring. Caster clasps their hands together. And in exchange, when Senate sat comes for this place, you facilitate the handover. You calm the protocols. You give us the gardener. Oh great. Well, he wants me to betray them. And I go free. Caster takes off their glasses and polishes them. You go free. He meets your eye. Do you accept? Can you even promise such a thing? Your head swims at the thought of controlling Gardner, but also at the idea of the eye being claimed by Senate Sat, every person reported and rehoused or worse. I refuse. Caster takes off their glasses and polishes them. Disappointing, you begin to leave. As you approach, he speaks quietly, an urgent whisper. I do not wish to see you lost. You are of great value. If you ever want to see that realized, you push past, ignoring him, and his voice fades. The last you see of him is his slow nod, perhaps a mark of resignation or just another differential gesture aimed at manipulating your response. It doesn't matter either way, you are done with him. You head towards the cordon, Peak and the flotilla in the forefront of your mind. He just wants me to give up everyone, because Gardner will stop them, he knows this. Otherwise he would not have asked me to help them. You arrive into chaos at the cordon. The final shuttles are leaving at the ramshackle docks that have formed along the edge of the gap during the flotilla's stay. As they do, groups of evacuees push on board, hoping to be among the final people to escape from the Eye. The fear created by the Flux event became a series of rumors, and those rumors have driven many out of their homes. Others have staunchly doubled down on their position on the Eye, refusing to accept any gossip of a second collapse. You are unsure what you think. Is the collapse a certainty? Will Peak's actions this cycle have changed anything at all? You are tired of these questions and instead set out to look for your friends. You quickly spot Peak and Ash at the far side of the chaotic bay. Quickly make your way through the crowd, slipping between the gaps in the rushing evacuees and stepping over bags and luggage. Progress is slow, but as you approach, you can hear their voices over the crowd. You try to push closer, but there are many evacuees gathered around them and their shuttle. They want to go. You have made your decision, Peak, and it puts you against me. Eshe is standing with one foot on the boarding ramp while Peak argues with her. The evacuees are eyeing them, eager to intervene but intimidated by Eshe's evident strength and attitude. Eshe doesn't have to be like this. Peak looks desperate and tear tracks already on their cheeks. We can find a way. He shakes her head. I have always protected you, Peak. I have taken you under my wing. But I understand that you are not mine to control, and you have chosen to be here and not with me despite everything. I have chosen to stop running, Peak cries out in frustration. You can choose to stop running too. We can stay here and try to live. Don't you remember what that feels like to live, Ash? Ash turns away. I remember what it was like to live on Hawthorne. What it was like to be worried for your safety every cycle. To live under the control of my mother, of the administration. To work to maintain something that no one wanted, no one needed, so that our corporation could maintain a foothold in this system. You talk as if this place in the very same system is any different. What is there here but the same grind for other masters, for employers, administrators, or for those who gain from our struggles? I mean, you can work for yourself. There may not be a corporation controlling the Eye, but there is control. There is power in action here. So what then? Peak shouts. You run from anyone or everyone who could ever be close to you in search of freedom, in search of some perfect place where no one has power over you. Peak is crying openly now. I want to be part of something, Ash, even if it is broken and suffering, and even if it cannot be free. Ash pauses and takes a deep breath. She nods, her eyes closed. This isn't Hawthorne anymore. We aren't tied by our childhood or by our shared need to escape. We are both just people in this system. She opens her eyes. I release you, Peak. You are free of me. Ash, please, they hold out a hand. There is a life here if you want it. Ash turns and smiles to Peak, her eyes wet now too. Then you live it for me, Peak. I can't. And she climbs up the boarding ramp, the evacuees taking their chance to climb on board too. You watch as the shuttle closes its ramp, lifts off and leaves the bay. The crowds are dispersing now as they get onto the shuttle or say their goodbyes and move back into the main part of the cordon. You push past the last of them to reach Peak. Peak doesn't turn as you come closer. Sleeper, Eshe is gone. She chose to leave. Peak nods. I have known her my whole life. They wipe their face. But since we arrived, we've been going in different directions. What is going on? Nothing. Okay. They turn to face you. I'll miss the Briar, but she'll serve Ash well. I know that. Oh, hello, Soul. Sleeper! The shout takes you by surprise, and as you turn to see Soul, you see Soul coming across the bay towards you, the last of two shuttles loading up behind him. He reaches you, his suit hissing as he does. Can't believe you'd make an old man run across the bay to get to you. He pauses to take a breath. The singers have gone. They left at the start of the cycle. They broke away from the flotilla. They did. You smile as you think of Tala, safely cradled within one of those singer ships, on her way to the starboard belt and hopefully a reunion with her brother. Godspeed, Tala. What are you smiling at? Soul interrupts your thoughts. They have forced our hand. We have to leave now. Soul shakes his head. If we follow close enough behind, maybe they'll end up being our scouts anyway. I reckon any hostile spacers out there will give them a wide berth. Pilgrim Seed will need a little time to make our way out of the cordon, but I am heading back now to get us started. Thankfully, the steel stepped ships are sticking with us, so we'll be plenty well supplied for the journey to the belt. He pauses. Anyway, I didn't plod all the way over here to tell you that. So looks between you and Peak with a raised eyebrow. It's now or never, sleeper. I'm good to my word, and I kept a berth for you, but this is your last chance to take it. He scratches at his beard. Make a call. You glance out at the flotilla beyond the bay, beautiful in the light of Hellion sun. You think of the long journey to the starboard belt, of the people inside the Pilgrim Seed, or the possible future that awaits them. Then you think of the people here on the eye, of Peak beside you, of the Bantayan, of Tala, and the key that still hangs around your neck, of promises and possibilities. I'll stay for now. You open your mouth to speak and realize this is the final time you will make this choice. You have to be sure. I'm staying. You say the words, and the moment you do, the weight of it all, oh my god, everything is rising up. The weight of it all seems to descend on you. You stumble a little and then stand straight, refusing to be crushed. You feel a tightness in your chest and a haze blurring your thoughts. Soul nods. Good luck, he sighs. You'll need it. He grips your shoulder and meets your eye. In the haze, his pitted and rough hands feel so real, so detailed that it grounds you. And then it is gone, and Soul goes with it, quickly moving to the waiting shuttle. As he does, you watch, unable to speak, your whole body pulsing. Yes, and then another hand falls on your shoulder, and it grounds you once more. You turn to see Peak's bright eyes. Let's go, sleeper. You nod, and seeing how unsteady you are on your feet, Peaks puts an arm around you and steers you towards the entrance to the bay. As they do, you hear the roar, feel the wind as the shuttle lifts off and angles towards the flotilla. You don't turn, instead you keep your head down and focus on each step. There's the ring. As you do, you feel Peak beside you, holding a little of your weight, and you holding a little of theirs. This is how it will be for many cycles after you both leave the bay and head back into the eye. You will both hold things for each other, remind each other of the choices you made, remind each other why it is important to keep going despite the moments when it seems impossible. You will keep each other going. That support will be vital when the second flux event hits the eye, when it knocks the entire free spoke off the power grid, making the whole station lurch with a sickening motion, when it cripples systems and corrupts processes, leading sections of the station to go dark or start venting oxygen. When holding on is all you can do while the world seems to come apart around you. Where the hell is Gardner? He's not doing anything. And yet somehow the eye will persist. Systems will resist total collapse in ways that will seem inexplicable to many, but to you and Peak, they will signal the awakening of a new force within the station. That new force will bring with it new challenges and new possibilities in equal measure. Strange growths will be reported all around the station in the wake of the flux event. Fungal crusts pushing through pipes and wiring. The eye will go wild and fecund, becoming a station of increasing unpredictability, prone to a seasonal rhythm of spore clouds and sudden growth spurts. There will be a strange and unsettling beauty to this paradigm shift, as the greening of the station turns it from a corporate ruin to some altogether new ensemble of biological and mechanical structures. Rico will take on this challenge with energy that seems impossible for her age, and until her final day she will delight in the new mysteries the eye and its gardener produce. And as this new era consolidates around the station, you will find yourself in the Bantayan most cycles, working to keep the place alive. The cycle where you invite Empress to come make use of the kitchen will go from a one-off event to a regular occurrence, and soon the Bantayan will be filled with spacers eager to try the best preparations of the station's now abundant mushrooms. And we can see the whole ring now. Look at that. Oh, this is the broken spoke. Right. And on occasion, after a long shift at the Bantayan, you will hear the sound of the stray mewing, and you will crumple up some food and sit and watch the cat eat as if it is the only thing in your world that matters. Yeah, I did feed the cat a lot. However, into all this newness, the bad old ways will still intrude. Senate frustrated by the Eye's resilience, will begin to send more physical threats, and supply ships and traders will suddenly stop arriving, stopped by a blockade of corporate militia. Life on the Eye will be punctuated by a wide channel broadcasts from Senate stating legal precedents and quoting deeds of ownership, sticking a claim on the system. Meanwhile, Harvange's hardliners will fizzle out, losing their grip on the Harvange Council. In their wake, Helene will spearhead a series of reforms that will scale back Harvange's overreach, returning them to the caretaker role that caretaker role they had always intended to fulfill. As the news cycles roll on and the threats gather, new broadcasts will join them, sent by convoy extractions, making counterclaims on assets within the Hellion system, and many on the Eye will grow quiet, losing their appetite for debating these political machinations as they tilt inexorably towards a corporate war. And ever on the Eye will spin, growing now in strange ways, haunted by strange new growths and hosting cultures of increasing resilience. As the Hellion system descends into crisis, you will find comfort in the fungal patterns, the familiar conversations, the spices, and the smells that will accumulate around you as your body continues its unavoidable decay. They settle around you like a veil, and in time it will be impossible to see the Eye without seeing its many variants and versions, pasts and potential futures, and this marking of the world will mark your approaching end. And one cycle far from now, that accumulation of memories, of tastes, of people and places and moments will be the last thing you let go of. But for now, there is only you and Peak, arms around each other, walking slowly out of the bay, two figures born of crippled systems, linked together, continuing despite your origins. And in this frozen moment, you focus on only the next step, because that is the only way you have learned to persist. And to persist is to believe that a future, any future at all, is possible. That's the Eye. We stayed back. We fought, but then got stuck in a damn corporate war. As was going to happen, they found resources here. Obviously, they will come back. But hey, man, maybe we can resist. Who knows? Maybe we can start mining the resources ourselves. But yeah, that was a good ending, I would say. I guess all the endings are in some way good, right? Unless, of course, I die. I have never died yet in the game. That is something. I'll try the other one as well. I'll go with the flotilla. That should be the final ending, right? The final achievement that I have to get. We'll let the credits play once more. It's not very long, so it's fine. But yeah, we are very close to the end of this honestly fantastic game. It was indeed very fun. But Diana and Anais, I don't know who they are, but I guess it's for them. So I guess if we leave, what happens then? I mean, nothing really changes much, right? Like, we go somewhere else, sure, but I mean, the place stays as it is. The gardener is still released. Station will still be fine. I guess we will just not be a part of it. Gareth, Damien, Martin. Good job, Gareth, Damien, and Martin, if you're 3 different people or if you're one person. Continue me once more. One last time. Once more into the fray. Dun, dun, dun. The music is good as well. You don't notice it much. Then they are... They go away. Chose to leave. This guy is here. I am going to leave. You open your mouth, speak, I'm leaving. You say the words and they seem to carry your heart out of your mouth with them. You feel lightheaded, spinning, as if you tumbled out of the bay into open space. Soul nods. Come on then, let's go. You freeze for a moment, feeling Peak's presence beside you, and the moment to speak disappears. Good luck, Peak. Peak nods. You too. They manage to squeeze out the words before going silent. And then you are walking with Soul across the bay, almost without trying. You step light and your head spinning. Soul grips your hand to help you up onto the shuttle ramp, and as he does, you feel the thick texture of his worn hands in great detail, as if you were touching some cratered landscape. You grip them tightly as you get on board. And as the ramp begins to close, you see Peak watching at a distance, their face half covered by their hair. They raise a hand in farewell, and as they do, you see something in their expression that you can't quite place. a sense of determination perhaps, or a compressed anger, something that will drive them forward from this point on to a future you can't believe will be better. And then the shuttle ramp closes and the metal box you are inside rumbles and tilts. Some of the evacuees with you screech at the sudden movement, but they settle as the ship carves its way out of the bay towards the flotilla, towards whatever comes next. When you arrive there, you will find a berth, just as Soul promised, tucked in among hundreds of others, like a strange neighborhood of tiny flats. The communal canteens, the water supply, the farm stacks, these shared spaces will become the center of this new reality. The places where stories are shared, where signals and messages from the ships of the system and the eye itself are interpreted and discussed. You will find yourself unable to resist listening in to any conversation about the eye, any scrap of data or detail. This is how you will hear that another flux event hit not longer after the flotilla left, one that knocked out the power for the whole free spoke, they say, disconnecting the hub from the rim for many cycles, one that crippled many systems and cost many lives. But the flotilla, having departed with enough time, will outrun the flux, and you and all the evacuees will be thankful for this mercy. You will also hear of the strange growths that people started reporting around the station in the wake of this event, fungal crusts that pushed through pipes and wiring. Rumors of the eye going wild and fecund will travel quickly around the pilgrim seed, telling stories of a station of increasing unpredictability, prone to a seasonal rhythm of spore clouds and sudden growth spurts. As your long journey across the system becomes a dull routine of the same faces and places, you will delight to overhear that the eye persists despite everything, that crippled systems are rebooted and replaced, and that the new seasons of growth and decay bring with them a plenitude of resources and surprises. You hear that Harvanj's hardliners have fizzled out, losing their grip on the Harvanj Council. In their wake, Erlin will spearhead a series of reforms that will scale back Harvanj's overreach, returning them to the caretaker role they had always intended to fulfill. It's the same. And after a long time, you will find the stories of the Eye become less, the signals and messages fewer, replaced instead by a new array of broadcast, this time from Senate Stat, stating legal precedents and quoting deeds of ownership, taking a claim on the system. These messages will set the rumor mill of the pilgrim seed spinning, and you will rarely have a moment when you don't hear mention of that company and its claims. Occasionally on the long trip, you will make a pilgrimage to the dust house on a supply shuttle and gather clubheads from among the mulch. You will talk with Aki as they are processed into stabilizer and hear of how the plants are changing, adapting, becoming ever intertwined in this new and unprecedented ecosystem. And then in the final part of your journey, as you reach the far parts of the system where few signals travel and the starboard belt uh, girds the system like a defensive ring, there will be distant reports of another fleet entering the system under the banner of the all too familiar Conway extractions. By the time this happens, you and the evacuees will begin to discuss these events less and less, perhaps in the hope of avoiding being implicated in the coming corporate war. And finally, one cycle far from this moment, you will arrive at an asteroid port in the starboard belt, one you have yet to know, and you and all the evacuees will be released into it. In that moment, half a system and hundreds of cycles away from the eye, you will think back on your time there with equal sadness and fondness. And then you will step out of the pilgrim seed never to return, and once more try to make a future for yourself that might be different to those false futures promised to you by so many times. But for now you remain on the shuttle, angling its way towards the base of the pilgrim seed, carrying the hopes of all who tremble quietly within it. And in this moment you feel the eye release you, just as Ash released Pig, and it feels so good. And there you go, that's the final ending. So what the hell are the two achievements that are left? They said there's two achievements remaining. I didn't get a single one, even though I did both the other endings. Usually each ending had an achievement accustomed with it. Maybe death is one of the endings, in which case I just never died. I'm just too good for the game. No, but they added a whole DLC. Of course they would add some achievements, right? That makes sense, right? I don't know. But yeah, that's the extent, that's the end of the game. I've seen it all. I have done it all. No problem. The second one seems like a better option, actually, honestly. Like, we are not back at the eye, obviously that's bad, but you know, we're safe here. The corporate war will not reach yet. I would say it will take a little bit more longer. And who knows, maybe the eye wins the fight. We don't know. Nobody knows. We are out here looking for a new life. Maybe that is the canon ending though, because in the second part that they keep mentioning, Citizen Sleeper 2 or whatever, we started the Starboard Belt. So maybe the second ending is canon. Or maybe we're a new sleeper, but I don't know. I guess we will find out. You step in the body of a new sleeper on the run in the Starboard Belt as you try to build a crew, take on contracts, and find a future. Sign up to our newsletter to find out more. Okay. Well, if I look at Game Pass and I look at details, where are my achievements? Excuse me. Please load up the achievements. Because there are two missing still. The bad end, the bay view, found an old crewmate at the edge of the rim. When did I do this? Oh, right. She shot him. That's that one. Not the one I was looking at though. Come on, slow motion. Yep, there are still two secret achievements. Okay, let me look up. Secret achievements in Citizen Sleeper. Loot boxes grow vast and strange. I got all these. Buy into the hub's competitive repair market. Clear debt with your friends. Story eat good food with stories. Better not have bad decisions. Collect enough security on the eye. Insert mind is done. Grow your own self-sufficient through botany. Help a friend and have fun with bun buns. Stop the signal. Remote control. I got that, right? I stopped the signal. Talking about yeah, stop the signal. Talk about this guy being mind controlled. The running game. Do what it takes to get that ticket. Help a friend distill their future. Buy yourself some extra time, one buy at a time. Communist noun, someone who joins a commune, putting those sample collecting skills to good use. Something right at the bottom, right? Everything can be repaired, I'm an effort. Set off towards the starboard belt with a friend outrunning their shadow. Turn away and follow the thread home. Nothing will get in the way of escape apart from you, secret. Solo ticket. Have I gotten solo ticket? I haven't gotten solo ticket, right? I guess solo ticket means I just don't contact freaking these guys and just leave. Interesting. Very interesting. Starward Passage. What is this? Having finished the Ankita storyline earlier in the game and then completing the Bliss storyline located in the hub later in the game will lead to two possible endings. Leaving with Bliss and Ankita, choose this first, then you can continue and instead decide to stay and help Morris finding the achievement. Wait. Oh, so I have gotten Starward Passage then. Right? Left behind Starward Passage. There it is. Okay, so I have gotten Starward Passage. The fixed stars I got. Solo ticket I have not gotten. Ending, try to the following conditions. Complete preparations for this of the side drill without helping Lem work by watching Mina. Follow side drill, cast and board with one ticket. Right. Okay. So I did not do this for sure. I did not just let him leave him. The three body problem. Stay in orbit of others. This appears to be the only ending that cannot be achieved in the same playthrough as the other endings. Follow the lengthy Lem Mina sidereal caster missions until you have stolen the Celis data from the ship at the shipyard and have an active screen with Lem and Mina. Do not tell Lem about the IDs 3 times and Sleeper will crumple and discard them at the end of the scene. Next, simply wait until the sidereal departure date and meet Lem and Mina at departure gate for this ending. Alright, so that's the two I didn't get. Related to Lem and stuff. Okay. Well, whatever, that's fine. I'll see you in whatever I choose to play next. It was a good game. I enjoyed it.